Hey y'all, if you're looking for a legit place to get cheap MT, go to dvdj.com and use code Popboy for an extra 10% off. What's going on, my people? I hope everybody's doing well out there. I'm coming to you from deep inside my dungeon. But let's go ahead and get to it. So we just did the first slider update video, right? Where we fixed on-ball defense. And the link to that vid is in the description. Really goes hand in hand with this video, so you want to make sure you watch that one too. But anyway, if you remember, I told y'all in that vid I had one more thing up my sleeve. Something else I've been testing that's made playing on-ball defense a lot better for me, and I know it can do the same for you. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to be giving you a setting. Then once we do that, I'm going to show you exactly how I use the setting on the floor in the game, because there's some really important technique involved here. Almost as important as the setting is how you use it. But you know, now that I mention it, the technique is effective to use throughout the whole game, even in modes where you don't have this setting. Okay, and the setting I'm talking about, it's under the controller settings. It's going to be right here, the defensive assist with intense D slider. Alright, so of course we know, it's been established, it's just too damn hard to play on-ball defense in 2K20. You just can't get him to move quick enough. He doesn't react fast enough. So it's easy to get a little out of position, and when you do, I don't know, it's like you get stuck in some stupid slip and slide animation that you have no control over. But that is where this slider comes in. This is why I've done so much testing with it. Okay, so I can tell you this thing can actually help us quite a bit if the setting is right and we know how to use it. So let's go ahead and start with My Career. And one quick note, you're only going to find this slider when you're actually in a My Career game. Okay, if you go to the controller settings when you're in like the neighborhood, it's not going to be there. But in this mode, in My Career, of course, we know we're just playing on 2K's defaults because we don't have access to custom sliders in the mode. So that's going to affect the setting that we want. So here's what we're doing for this mode. We got for Rookie and Pro, this thing all the way up at 100. Okay, so maximum level of assistance there. Now for All-Star, we're going to put it at 95. Okay, then for Superstar and Hall of Fame, it's going to be at 90. So that'll be good for My Career. Now for My League, My GM, if you're just like playing a quick game offline, any mode like that where we do have custom sliders, we're going to need a little bit of a different setting for this thing. Right, so we already have settings in place to make on-ball D a lot better, which is what we did in the last video. Again, link in the description if you haven't seen it. Now, since we already have these adjustments in place, that means we're not going to need quite as much assistance from this slider. Now, we're still going to want to raise it, of course, but just not quite as much. So here's what it is. Rookie and Pro are going to be at 90. All-Star, we want at 85. And then Superstar and Hall of Fame at 80. Okay, so those are all the settings, but like I said, with this slider, the technique is just as important. Okay, so let me show you how I use this thing on the court. So I'd say like 85% of the time I'm playing on-ball D, I'm holding down that intense D button. Okay, now the only time I release it is when he starts to get a little too much separation from me. Okay, and this is important. As I'm releasing the intense D button, at the same time, I'm pressing down on the sprint button. Now, here's the really important part. You want to use those two buttons, intense D and sprint. What's a good example? Like, if you've ever driven a stick, right? You'd want to use them like they're the gas and the clutch, right? So it's that kind of push and pull mechanism. You're alternating between the two. But so let's say I get just a little bit out of position. Then I might press the sprint button down like 20%. Then at the same time, release a little bit off intense D, so I'm holding it down at about 80%. See what I mean? Then if he were to get a little more away from me, it might be more like 50-50. And then if he were to get way away from me, if I get way the hell out of position, then I'm obviously going to release the intense D button altogether and have it at 0% and press that sprint button down all the way at 100%. But in any case, whenever I catch back up to him, I get back in position, I'm going to go back to holding intense D down at 100% and releasing completely off of the sprint button. Alright, so we got that high setting on the intense D slider. That's operating, that's helping us stay in better position. So we can now move quicker, react faster, Our player will be more responsive even while playing Intense D. And then the method of mixing in the sprint button, going back and forth, using it like a gas and a clutch, is allowing us to make up that extra ground when needed. And what this does is it stops a lot of those stupid slip and slide, running off into nowhere animations from triggering in the first place. And it just takes a little bit of practice, not that much. But once you get a feel for it, get the rhythm down, you'll see. It's really effective. Definitely makes playing on ball D better. And it's not overpowered or anything like that. It's just like what playing on ball defense should have felt like, in the first place, right out of the box, if they would have done a better job, programming this part of the game. All right, so tap that like button if you're feeling me. And get all up in the comments. Just bring me whatever you got. And we're going to keep going, guys. We got a bunch more coming up. So subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, hit those notifications on. Okay, because I'm going to be back up in here real soon with the next edition of 2K with the Popboy.